Hello and welcome everybody. We're back again for the RDTCC or Race Department Touring Car Championship here at Suzuka, or the Ganzel, I think it is, circuit in the game, but it's actually Suzuka circuit. We all know what it really is. But we're here for what is round 5 and 6 of the series, race 5 and 6. I'll tell you what, it's going to be very interesting indeed. Very different track to the two we've been to. Obviously not a Brazilian track. This is a in Japan, of course, and a much longer track too. We're looking at about 2 minutes. I think it's just over 2 minutes for the lap. Very, very long lap. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we go here with a very different style of track to the ones we've had for the first two rounds. Of course, not alone, as always, we've got Davey Van de Ven on the cameras doing the amazing work he does there, giving you the pixelated action on your screens. And alongside me in the commentary box, as always, is Mr. RJ O'Connell. Say hello, sir.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this third round, the fifth and sixth races of the Race Department Touring Car Championship from the legendary Suzuka circuit, home of the Formula One Japanese Grand Prix, the 1,000 kilometers of Suzuka, the Suzuka 8 Hours, and many other fine events. This is one of the all-time great circuits, not just in Japan, but in all of motorsport. Pull off a perfect lap here at Suzuka requires 100 and total percent commitment from each and every one of the drivers. And that is exactly what our pole sitter, Alexander Kolukovic, did to take the pole position for the first time this season. So he'll be starting this first race of today from the pole position for the very first time. In fact, why don't we take a look now at just what makes Suzuka such an interesting challenge? Why don't we kick it over to our track layout?
Kumbawa, a 5.81 kilometer track into 18 turns. Curve 1 and Curve 2 are both of them right-handers. Brake early and keep your car inbounds. Curve 2, attack that curb on the inside for better speed and outside as well. Once that's done, you're coming up to right now to S curve, a left to right and to left curves. Attack the curbs on the inside for better traction of your car. Once that's done, now you're coming up to the Yaku bank curve, uphill to downhill right-hand curve. Carry over that speed you had on the previous curves into Dunlop, left hand side uphill curve. Once that's done, carry over for a short amount of time because you're coming up to Dagner, which is one of the dangerous part of the track. Brake very late, keep your car in balance, not make sure your car are going off balance. This is very easy to go off balance. Right hand side into the bridge curve in preparation for the hairpin curve, which is coming up very shortly, which is a very sharp left hand curve. You're gonna brake very early over here into first gear, carry over that speed and use the curbs on the outside. This is basically a must for better speed and time. Now you're coming up to 200R, which is a right hand curve, very long. You're gonna go over 200 kilometers per hour once you're done with that part of the track. You're gonna brake right now over the 15-meter board into spoon curve, which is two curves left hand side. Second part of the curve, you're gonna brake very late and carry over that small speed into the downhill part of the track into the back section. This back section is very long, over 1.2 kilometers. You're gonna go reach 225 to 230 kilometers per hour once you're done about 130R, which is coming up right now. Very, very careful over here. Your car can go off track very easily in this part of the curve. If you do that, you're gonna come up to the last part, which is Casio Triangle, right to left chicane. Very sharp, brake very early to make sure your car do not go off bounds. If you do that, you're gonna come up to the last curve, which is just a very short right hand side downhill into the pit straight. And sayonara, this will be your lap around Suzuka.
Alright, there you go. That was the video of the lovely track we're racing around today. Now you should be looking at the standings, should be popping up on that screen of yours, top 15 at the moment after two rounds of the series. Oscar Harwick, as you can see, leading by 16 points from Nito Nascimento. Interesting fun fact, though, Nito Nascimento is not here for this round. So that is interesting for the championship and seeing how far he'll fall, as he's not here, I don't believe, for this round. Anyway, David Junt is in third there for THR, and there's Lewis McGlade, who's equal with Tobias Olsen and Craig Patterson, all equal there for fourth on 342 points, sorry. And I believe there's Paul Watkins there, the mighty fourth driver, in seventh for 337 points. Good stuff from him. Also had a good start to the season. Hopefully that continues on for him. Theo Vanderbrink is eighth, and it's Mike Bell for Smile Power Racing ninth, and Remco de Wilt rounds out your top 10. You can see the rest of them there running at top 15. So Going to be very interesting to see how this goes. As without Nito here, Oscar could really extend that championship lead of his with the absence of his really main rival here for this round. And it's going to be interesting to see just how much he can extend it by, because it's a real opportunity for him, RJ, to really get that lead to quite a sizable margin.
And it will also be an opportunity for a lot of the drivers behind him in this championship to really make up some ground and start winning some races. Remember, Nato leads the championship with 2 victories from the 4 races this season, and his absence from the grid is really going to open things up for the rest of the drivers competing. Also to mention, Theo Vanderbrink will be absent from this round. He is currently 8th in the championship, so there is another opportunity for drivers who are just on the cusp of the top 5 or top 10 spot to really make a push up into the championship standings. Right now we have about, I would say, 6 minutes left to go in the warm-up session, and we should be getting ready with the first of our 30-minute races here at the Suzuka circuit. We are running the full layout, and this could be a very pivotal race in the championship.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, no, it'll be a very, very interesting race to see how we go around here. Not really used to seeing touring cars, to be honest, around the full layout of Suzuka. It's a bit different for me. Usually I've seen a lot of leagues have used the shorter layouts, usually the East one, I believe it is. It's about a 50-second lap in touring cars. But we're using the full Monty, so to speak. It's going to be very interesting to see. Very interesting indeed. I'm expecting to see some good battles. Obviously, slipstreaming, we can expect to be quite a big thing here down the back straight and the main straight. It's going to be interesting to see if anyone tries any side-by-side action through 130R. So I was thinking F1 cars, that works well, because obviously major downforce, you can generally get through there. Generally, no worries with 2 guys if you can both be quite polite. But with touring cars, of course, not as much downforce or grips. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone's brave enough down there to really, chuck it up the inside and maybe have a bit of a crack at a move down there. Would be very brave, but I'm sure we'll see all kinds of action during this. We've seen it already in this season, so I'm sure we'll see more. But as we head towards now, we've got about 5.5 minutes now to go in the warm-up session. Who are you looking at to be, other than, of course, I'm sure Oscar Albic is the main sort of favourite at the moment to be up there, at the top of the leaderboards or the positions-wise, but who else are you looking at to possibly be up there, RJ, for this first race?
Well, I'm looking at a couple of names in particular. In particular, Lewis McLeod will start this race from 10th place. So he's currently sitting 4th in the championship. Effectively, with Nato Nascimento's absence, he is 3rd in the championship, tied with Tobias Olsen and Craig Pattison. And if he can get up to the front and start working with Oscar Hartwig, that will very much play dividends for both their championship hopes. Also, David Junt is going to be another driver to watch from the back of this field. And also Remco de Velde, who was really impressive in the second race at Rio de Janeiro, winning with the inverted grid, but showing very, very real pace. And that victory did propel him up to 10th place in the standings, and he has a good starting spot for this first race, so he will definitely be a driver to watch going forward. And it's also going to be, as you mentioned, very interesting because we are running the full layout, so we're going to see more of like the landmark corners of Suzuka. The triangle where Prost and Senna had the first of their famous coming togethers in 1989, the famous 130R, the spoon curves, which is always difficult to get right, even in a high downforce car. Now, these are very simple touring cars. They don't carry nearly as much downforce as a modern spec world touring car, certainly not as much as a DTM or a Super GT 500 car. So it's all going to come down to the drivers. It's all going to come down to how much they're committed to running as close to flat as they can, because we can't run the S-curves flat out in a 240 horsepower front-wheel drive touring car, but they can certainly do their best. It's all going to come down to driver inputs. Not a lot of things you can set up and tweak on these cars. Very basic cars. It all comes down to the drivers and their abilities, and nowhere more so than at a track like this.
Indeed, no, very, very true there. Very true. It's going to be all down to the drivers, and that's where I think we'll see sort of the drivers proving themselves here at this track, really showing stars of the series. It's good to see, actually. A bit of obviously the warm-up session is 15 minutes long. It's a pretty long warm-up session for the drivers, so we've got some banter going on in the chat. I like it. It's good little banter there from the drivers. But yeah, no, it's going to be very interesting indeed. I'm very keen to see the battles we'll have here. And the reverse spread's going to be very interesting too, I think. Excuse me. Around this extended layer. It's going to be very interesting to see who are at the front, who will be at the back, can come through the field, because obviously being the long straights, it could potentially make overtaking a bit easier than at the tracks we've had so far this season. We will see whether that's confirmed. I could be wrong, of course. Maybe it'll be harder. Who knows? Depends how hard people will defend. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting indeed around here at this track here, the Suzuka, as we're going to call it. I'm not going to call it, obviously, we're not going to call its name in the game. It is really Suzuka. We all know that. So yeah,
for
no,
legal reasons, Thomas, it is Kansai circuit. But of course, you know the layout, you know the landmarks, you know that this is Suzuka circuit, and that is where we will do battle today with just 2 minutes left in the warm-up session. This is going to be a big one, Thomas. As we just look through some of the faces, I'm actually impressed by the pace of Narajan Kumar. He qualified very well for this race, and he's currently the quickest driver in the warm-ups. Not a lot of drivers have taken the time in this warm-up session right now, but Narajan Kumar could really spring a surprise. He was very impressive today earlier on in the sessions. He may be another driver to watch to really make a huge impact in these two races.
Yeah, no, good point. Good point. Is going to mention Indian driver, I believe. I've seen him in a few other leagues that he's entered recently. I think that's sort of new, fresh face to sim racing, league racing anyway. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. Hopefully he can do well, as it's always good to see sort of a bit of an unknown driver doing well. That's certainly sure. I like to see a bit of a mix-up. I think we all do. I like to see a bit of a underdog coming through. It's always a good story. But yes, we've got about a minute left now in the session before we go green, and yeah, it's going to be very interesting indeed to see how this goes. I will just say, actually, and this is something I haven't said yet, I don't think, although memory is notoriously sketchy at the best of times, but just wanted to mention the grid, of course, looking very pretty again as always. A lot of different colours on the grid, and I will say the skins look absolutely gorgeous, I reckon, on these cars. Some very well painted liveries on this field. I still haven't picked a personal favourite, got to be honest. I really don't know my personal favourites. I do like the Mighty Fourth livery. I think that looks quite nice. As well as the, I think, which one is it? I don't mind Oscar Harvick's either. His sort of purple, I think, looks alright, weirdly, for me anyway. But yes, we're nearly there. 20 seconds now, and any final words from you, RJ? Words of advice before we go to the start?
Just weighing in on the favorite livery, Kakper Kowalczyk has probably my favorite, with the tribute to the Jordan 191, so sublime, with the likes of the late Andre de Cesaris, Michael Schumacher's first F1 car, Alex Zanardi's first F1 car, in fact, as he later on replaced Schumacher that year. This is going to be a very, very fantastic race to watch for everybody. Just a quick breakdown on the manufacturers. We have 4 different manufacturers in these Brasileiro de Marcas Touring Car Series. In Stock Car Extreme, we have 13 Mitsubishi Lancers in this field, 10 Ford Focuses, 4 Chevrolet Cruzes, and 3 Toyota Corollas. And it is going to be a Lancer that starts on pole position with the Ukrainian driver, Sandrots, Alexander Kolodkovich, on pole position for this, the first of 2 30-minute races. And we are just seconds away from the start of this one. I've got goosebumps. This is going to be a fun race to watch.
Oh yes, I agree completely. It will be an absolutely spectacular race, I reckon. We've got an absolute cracker on here, like we've had all season long. We had Sandrock's there on pole, and it's Oscar Hardwick second, Andrew Waring third, Tero Dahlberg there in fourth, and then Kumar there, the man we're talking about before, the Indian, in fifth. Very good qualifying from him, but we're nearly about to go green here as the lights are about to start going on. Here we go, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, 6 red lights, and we are away here at the Suzuka circuit. And look at the start of Alexander's got a nice start. I think they're in the lead, and he's got away quite nicely from Oscar Hardwick. Oscar Hardwick there just beside him, but he hasn't jumped him. Look at that, very nice start there.
Wow, look at this, right behind him, wide into turn 1, and Red Coat comes out of that, really.
Gee. Yeah, no, that was very close. I saw that too. Nearly a bit of contact there. They got through okay though, so good stuff from there. Back through the field. I don't see any spins. We look all good. Looks like I got through. Very nice stuff from everybody there to get through turn 1. It was a notoriously difficult section, those first 2 turns, but a double right-hander to start a lap. But everyone got through nicely, so good stuff there. But here's Alexander leading at the moment from Oscar Hardwick. Andrew Warren third. Torbert there, fourth. Tobias Olsen up there. Good start from him for Ice Cold, looking good. There's Young sixth. The Wilt 7th. McGlade, McGlade now 7th. He's just gone down the inside. The Wilt hit his battle for 7th spot. Well, the Wilt's holding on down there. Oh, who's that? It's Kumar there. Oh, it's contact. Oh, Kumar's off. Oh, big crash.
Oh, goodness. Kumar has spun.
Oh,
jeez. And that is, yeah, Kumar's just trying to back up here, and he's going to rejoin the track, get it back going, but he's fallen to the back of the field. While this was going on, Oscar Hardwick made the pass on Alexander Kolakovic going into the Degner curve, so Hardwick now leads. He has finished every race in the top 5 so far this season, 5th, 1st, 3rd, and 3rd in that order, and he's looking very impressive right now. He's moved to the lead in this opening lap of the race. But of course, it's going to be very hard for him to open up a gap here at this stage of the race. He's going to really have to turn in some fast laps and make sure that he keeps everybody else in check. As Kolakovic already on his back bumper. This is one of the long straights on this circuit. And Kolakovic looking for an outside passing attempt going into 130R. These cars are going to be topping out at their maximum speeds, which is not much. It's just north of 220 kilometers an hour is the maximum that these cars can reach. And Hardwick's going to hold the position as they go into the triangle.
Sorry. Oh my God. Hit at that packer with Hatterson, Watkins. There's someone around as well. I think it's Mike Bell, is it? It's Mike Bell into someone else off as well. Almost 4 wide back in the field. Looking back here at Watkins. And I think there was, Haxton in there as well. There's a whole bunch of them. Sorry to get excited there, but they nearly went 3 wide into 130. I held my breath there, and I was looking at it going, this is not going to end well, but I managed to get through okay. As we move on here, Dolberg there, just under the pump from Jan. Oh, he's got shunted there. Jan's just giving him a little bit of nudge into the first corner. He's gone wide. That loses him out of position to Jan and McGlade. Bit of drama here in the early laps as everyone's trying to get sorted, but it is still Oscar Hardwick at the moment, leading from Alexander, Warring in third, Tobias Olsen next, and that's Jan, McGlade, Goldberg, the Wilts, Patsy there, nice start from him, and yeah, there you go. So yeah, a bit of action packed out in the lap. I just want to go back quickly to Kumar. I was just going to have a look at what happened to him, and I think what it was he tried to go for a pass and he hit Degner 1, and in the end it just didn't work out. Tried to go for a pass in early laps, in the first lap or two, trying.
Oh goodness, and that is a very tough route.
Sorry, the lag there. I was just going to say, just finish off Kumar. Yeah, just went for a pass there and unfortunately didn't work out, and that's why he spun around. So there you go, just to rectify or explain what happened to Kumar there.
All right, and just completing out the top 10, Arne Freinsinger in the top 10 in the IAMS car, number 83. This is the first time that I've seen him race this season. Very quick driver. Did well in qualifying, and he's running just at the end of the top 10 in 10th spot, of course. Right in front of them, we have a battle for 7th. Taro Dahlberg fell to 7th with that contact in the second lap. He's ahead of Remco de Wild, the race winner in Fuji. Oh, and McGlade locks up the brakes big time going into Spoon Curve. And that's a corner that's caught out some of the best drivers in the world over decades of racing. So no shame there to just lock up the brakes and still hold on to the position. But Dahlberg's getting a run on him, and this is going to be a key point of the track. If they can get the slipstream, if they can get enough of a top speed advantage here, you've got to carry this momentum through 130R. It's not quite flat out in these cars. Dahlberg's going to look at the inside. Does he have enough to make the pass? They make a little bit of contact, but not enough. McGlade's going to hold the position. Dahlberg looks a little bit out of shape, but he keeps on trucking. He's in 7th. Remco de Wild has a challenge from Thomas Pazzi in 9th. So Pazzi and de Wild going side by side here. This is for 8th position. And they're going to be pretty much side by side going into the first corner. Who's going to break later? It's de Wild who holds the position. Just so. Oh, Dahlberg with a big slide through 2.
Yeah, indeed, yes. I know. I was just looking back at Casper there. He dropped the 50. He just had a big moment through 130R. Lost it nearly into the wall. Managed to avoid contact with everyone. I don't know how, but he managed to avoid contact. It was a really big moment. And he had a very, very heart-stopping moment. I know I would probably needed a new pair of underpants after that moment through the 130R. But yeah, that's just a little moment I noticed there. But yes, no, the battle continues on here with the Wilt. He's got Tomas behind him. And then Freisner there, as you said before here. And he's one of his first races I've seen him in too. And he's in 10th spot, doing very well indeed, I must say, here at the Suzuka circuit. Very challenging circuit to sort of come into the series. And he's doing very well so far. But we still have a long way to go. Only 5 minutes done of the 13-minute race here. And looks like the Wilk's actually gapping Tomas there a little bit now. So he's managed to relieve himself from pressure. And off he goes. But Oscar Hardwick's still leading. Ooh, a bit of contact there between Warring and Alexander there in 2nd and 3rd spots as they came through the hairpin. Still going along though. So it's still Hardwick leading from Alexander. Warring 3rd. That's Olsen 4th. And then Yuntz 5th. Bit of a gap back to him. The top 4 all very close indeed. All pretty much nose tail are those 4 guys. So it's interesting to see as they go along. Twice Olsen, by the way, shout out to him here. He's showing really nice pace here at Suzuka. I know he's had some good results so far. Alexander's gone wide through Spoon. That's going to give Waring a chance. He looks to the inside as he exits the Spoon curve. Yeah, surely Alexander's going to have the slipstream in the pace. Yeah, he does. He just gets back in behind Alexander. Probably looking for the slipstream here. Have a look, I would say, down to the 130R or the triangle. He might save the triangle. As I said, trying to go side by side in these cars with the 130R is a very, very dangerous game. I'm not sure I'd be keen to try that. Move through there, but there we go. Look at that. Waring has a look around the outside, but Alexander covers it nicely. And he's just going to have to stick in line at the moment, Andrew, as he tries to fight for that second spot with the Razor Racing Team car.
Right, and of course the championship implications for Tobias Olsen. He's in a good spot right now. He was tied with McGlade and Pattison for what is effectively now fourth in the championship. Eto Nascimento's absent. Whoa, look at this! Kalankovic up the inside of Hardwick. Oh, he just has the door slammed on him, but Hardwick's going to lock the brakes. They're side by side through two. Bit of contact there. They're all locking the brakes through turns 1 and 2. Waring's right on the back of Kalankovic, and Olsen's right on the back of Waring. They're all really running really close to each other, just completely matching each other's pace. As I was making the point, Olsen's in a good spot in the championship. He doesn't need to take too many chances at this stage in the race because he's in a good spot in the championship. Oh, they touch! Kalankovic is around! Waring collected! Olsen's around too! Hardwick's going to escape all of this! My goodness, it's happened immediately!
I'm just sitting there going, and there's the commentator's curse on Olsen for Olsen. He's now down in 10th spot. He's still in the top 10, and he's not too far off the back of these guys, so it's not a disaster for Olsen. It looks like the damage he received there's not too major. But yeah, there you go, a big moment. I tell you what, I don't know, I had a hunch that was going to happen, because it's just, trying to pass through there is a very dangerous game in any car, let alone these touring cars. It's an extremely dangerous spot to try and overtake through there. Trying to get through there on your own, I found, is hard enough because of the way the track kind of falls away from you. Because of the camber of the track, it almost falls away from you through that corner. And so it's quite challenging to get through there on your own, let alone with two cars side by side. So I wasn't too surprised that didn't work out, because it's a very, very brave move, if I do say so myself. But there you go, drops to 7th though, so he's still there or thereabouts. He's actually right behind this battle now between DeWilt and Tero here. He's gone down the inside Tero out of the Spoon curve. Rem paving to defend now. Look at this Alexander now trying to go around the outside, trying to use that slipstream of DeWilt. He's pretty much forcing Tero to not go back in. Although this Tero's trying to push him on his off track there. Oh, nearly contacted the Spoon curve through 130R. They almost went side by side through there. Brave stuff from these two. Alexander, who's that? Someone's off in the background there through. Oh, big contact. It's it's Arn there. He's dropped down to 14th now. The man we were just talking about earlier in the race. Big moment through 130R. 130R. Sorry, I'm failing to learn to speak right now. I'm that excited, but yeah, big moment through 130R there from him. But he is continuing in 14th. But yeah, I tell you what, RJ, it's all kicking off in the last couple of minutes.
Kalankovic still 7th, Olsen still 9th. They didn't lose too much ground, so they're still in a good spot. Arm Freinasteiner got it all wrong coming out of 130R, so he's dropped down to 14th place at the moment. But as it stands right now, Hardwick now has a comfortable margin of 2.7 seconds over Andrew Waring, who's just moved ahead of his teammate David Junt. So they've got to really try and work together. Remember, David Junt he's effectively going to move into second of the championship. He entered this race 30 points back of Oscar Hardwick. He's had a pretty good season so far, and he would love to gain some more ground. He's obviously going to lose a couple of points here to Hardwick as they run right now, so he's just got to run consistent. He's got to run fast all race long. Certainly getting ahead of Andrew Waring at this stage of the race would be to his advantage. McGlade has already worked his way up to 4th, 1/10 on the grid. DeWilt is 5th, having another strong showing. Dahlberg sits and still in 6th. Bit of a scoring bug there. Kalankovic still up into 7th place, and he's right at the head of this field. Thomas Pazzi and Tobias Olsen getting really close for comfort there. Craig Pattison in 9th, and Mark Breland has worked his way up well. He's in the top 10 for the mighty 4th.
Yeah, no, good stuff from those guys. Really going on quite nicely. So it's just looking at Alexander there, a bit of an interesting try to go. He made it stick. Oh no, he's gone. Oh no, he's gone around again through Spoon. They're going off the track. He's managed to keep it out of the way. Oh wow. Oh
goodness.
That's a bit of contact there between Mark and Alexander. That was I don't want to I don't want to say anything too controversial, but that was a very risky rejoin right in the middle of spoon curve. He could have waited a little longer and tried to rejoin not so suddenly. Alexander really put Mark Breslin in a really difficult spot. There's really nowhere he could have gone there. Alexander just kind of appeared in front of him. So a bit of a interesting rejoin there from Alexander, if I'll put it politely. But yeah, no, it's all getting a bit crazy right now. The red mist appears to be dropping with a few of the drivers right now. They're all getting a bit sort of forceful with the moves, I guess. I've noticed. But yeah, here we go. Tamas now defending from Olsen down the main straight here as they go into turn one. Olsen defending the inside. Tamas defending the inside line, but Olsen just goes around the outside. Look at that. Olsen casual as you like, just goes, no worries, mate. If you want to cover the inside, I'll go around the outside. And so there you go. Makes the move stick in the 7th spot, and that means he's now next up on his list is Dolberg there. Dolberg, sorry, in 6th spot. There's a bit of a gap there, about 3 seconds, as these guys have all been fighting behind. But there you go, yep. So still Oscar Harbour leading. By the way, he's about 3.3 seconds clear now of David Young. He really is gapping the guys behind as they're also fighting away. McGlade, by the way, is now moved into 3rd spot. There you go, he's on the podium. McGlade at the moment after starting 10th spot. A good race from him so far. Looking like he's got some very solid race pace, which is good for him. As we go along now, 12 minutes gone of this 30-minute race. We're nearly halfway, RJ. I'll tell you what, the amount of action we've had has just been quite incredible, really.
Right, and you mentioned that pass on Olsen earlier. That's textbook stuff. Interesting, that first turn at Suzuka, this is one of the few places where you got to set yourself up on the outside to get that ideal line through the track. It was part of the explanation for the second coming together of Prost and Senna, because Senna wanted the outside line of the track approaching turn 1, and of course that led to their famous coming together, because he had to start the race from the inside line. But that's a whole nother story for an entirely different time and place. You mentioned Lewis McGlade in 3rd. He's going to gain some significant points on the 2 drivers that he was tied with, Tobias Olsen and Craig Patterson, as they run. And he's right up on the back bumper of David Junt for 2nd place. Is he going to make the move on the outside? He's weaving. He is trying to do everything he can to get around David Junt. Oh. And they're going to make the move into 130R. No, McGlade just decides to make it, to keep his patience. Perhaps he feels he can outbrake him going into the Casino Triangle. Waring is coming up with Junt. Perhaps Waring is going to take 3rd. No, McGlade stays ahead of Waring, and Junt stays ahead of this whole field. So right now it is on for 2nd place. David Junt trying to play a little bit of defense as he sees Lewis McGlade, Andrew Waring, and Remco de Vult, and Toro Dahlberg. Dahlberg's in this too, so it's going to be pretty soon a fight between these 5 cars. But at the moment, the 3 in your shot, Junt, McGlade, and Waring are all battling it out for 2nd position. It's a sketchy entry into turn 1 for all 3 of those drivers. But they managed to keep it going. Tobias Olsen now working on Craig Patterson for 9th place. Really getting racy here. It is all kicking off, and just up ahead of them, Oscar Hardwick just running another consistent race. He's opened up another second on the rest of the field. He leads out to 4.3 seconds on that last lap as we approach the halfway mark of the race.
Yeah, indeed. No, I was hoping those little noises so you could hear me. I was looking back at the battle for 7th between Alexander, Craig, and Tobias. Into turn 1. Alexander tried to make it 3 wide through there. It was a bit of a heart-stopping moment. He managed to get through. I think Tobias had to go wide. He actually probably did the smart thing there. He thought rather than try and fight all the way and cause a possible crash, he thought, I'll just go wide, go off the track, let the position go, and survive to fight another day. So probably some smart driving there from Tobias as they tried to go 3 wide in turn 1, which just never works in even Formula 1 cars, let alone touring cars with a lot less grip. But here we go, 2nd place. The battle is on. Yunt under big pressure from McGlade. McGlade can try to go around the outside into the spoon curve. This will be a good move if he can do it. Yunt defending the inside line very well here as they go.
The risk you take when you drive these cars in such close quarters. Oh my goodness. Junt and McGlade still going side by side. Now here's the thing here, because I mentioned this earlier, these cars do not have a huge amount of top 10. So the slipstream is very effective in these cars, but only up until a certain point, because these cars top out at just north of 220 kilometers an hour. So whatever advantage you could gain from the slipstream at that point, it really comes down to the braking. Whoa, Waring slides off the track, but he rejoins. He loses a couple positions out of this zone, so he's down into 6 now. He's going to give up the position to Dahlberg, surely. McGlade's still on the back bumper of Junt. He's really putting on the pressure for 2nd place.
Indeed, no, look at this, yeah, McGlade all over the back of Yunt as Warren went wide through the 130 yard. He's managed to recover. Here we go, to the inside line covered Yunt. Will try and go through the middle. Oh, he looks, but I don't think he will. It's very brave to go 3 wide down there. Ooh, McGlade breaking early there. He's going to go switch back on Yunt. Classic move from McGlade. Is he going to make it work? Ooh, bit of contact there from the two, but Yunt holds on just. This battle is intense. Great stuff there from McGlade. Very good thinking there. He tried to do a switch back and get back up the inside. And he exited the first corner, but unfortunately Yunt covered that. Well, unfortunately for McGlade, Yunt covered that very, very well indeed. Notice the gap to the lead now, 5.5 seconds. Oscar is just absolutely bolting up the road. He's loving this. I'm sure he'll be thanking Yunt after the race for sort of causing this little bottleneck here as they continue to go on through the left-hander there. McGlade literally almost pushing Yunt through the left hand now as they go through towards the Degners. Warren's having a look. Look at this. DeWilt's having a look. They're all having a look at each other as they go into Degner 1. They get through though. They're all sensible there. They're all like, we'll get through that first, then we can fight up towards the hairpin. Because as we've already seen, trying to pass through Degner 1 is an extremely dangerous game. But with this, McGlade right behind Yunt, pushing in towards the hairpin. Will he have a look down the inside? I think I'm looking at Warren trying to get around the outside. DeWilt done all contact between the two, but he gets it done. Good stuff from Warren there. Around the outside into Spoon. Very, very impressive move. He now moves back up to 4th spot. DeWilt back to 5th. And actually, Terro's looking quite menacing there at the back of DeWilt's car. But look at this, McGlade again having a look to the inside towards Spoon Curve. As he looks to the inside, no, can't break late enough. Good defense there from Yunt there. Just breaking late enough to defend that position as they go through Spoon Curve now and back onto the back straight, heading towards 130 yard. The gap's still 5.5 seconds. Well, I think we're about to reach the next sector time, so it should update any second now with what that gap is. I suspect it should be a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised if it's near to 6 seconds. They go through the back straight now towards 130R. Yunt defending that inside line very, very well. A little bit of bump as they go through 130R. Yunt continues to defend. Look at this. Look at how close McGlade is. Although Yunt, again, hard defense there on the inside line. No way that McGlade's going to get through as they go along now through the triangle and back onto the main straight. This battle really intense. And look who's joined the party. Alexander is back again. And he's now on this battle too. From 2nd to 7th as they go along now. Very, very nice battle indeed.
Right, look at this. You have a 6-car battle for the lead. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Lewis McGlade because at times, this style of racing is so manic, it's so frantic, it's so close quarters that sometimes it just takes the right time to race smarter, not harder. And I like what I saw in the last lap with McGlade trying to switch back move. It didn't work out this time because David Junt is he's just doing everything he can to make sure that the drivers behind him don't outbreak him. They don't get an advantageous line. He's doing everything he can. He's playing defense. He's playing hard but fair defense for this second position. He's doing everything he can to keep this train of cars behind him. But they're not relenting behind him. McGlade is actually going to take a look at the inside through the Dunlop corner, which is going to put him on the outside of Degner 1. Can he make the move? No! It's just great defense for Junt. Even a bit of contact, and he's totally unshaken through this sequence of curves. This is fantastic stuff. And as you mentioned, this is all playing in Oscar Harvick's advantage because he's just opened up another second on his lead. Oh, look at this. They're all bunched together through the hairpin. So they're all just really, really close together. Waring, DeWilt, Dahlberg, McGlade, and Junt. It's really, really kicking off. Tobias Olsen and Craig Pattison, actually, they're contesting 8th place right now in a very close fight. They're side by side going into Spoon Curve. How is that going to turn out? Will the Williams-Martini racing car get ahead of Tobias Olsen, the championship contender? Oh, not quite. It looks like Pattison's going to hold on to that position. As it is starting to kick off, Dahlberg just fighting to stay ahead of Alexander Kolakovic, who has the inside line on him. So that's for 6th place, and that's only at the very, very back of this train of cars. David Junt has done some incredible driving to hold on to the 2nd place.
Yeah, indeed. No, yeah, he's done some great defense so far. Still got 10 minutes to go, though, so it's a third of the race to go. It's actually getting stand but DeWilt, they're having to defend from Tolberg as they go into the triangle now. And, yeah, he manages to defend there, does DeWilt for the time being. Looks like they're just struggling to hold on the back of these three by looks of it. Is Remco. So here we go. Ooh, sorry, yeah, here we go. Look at this, the 2 THRs in the slipstream. They're going to go 3 wide, aren't they? They are down to turn 1. Oh, 2 THRs. They are not going to go 3 wide down into the first corner. I was going to say it's pretty brave stuff. But there's Warring on the inside of McGlade. Oh, there's contact. There's contact. Although they hold on to it. That was incredible car control from both those drivers. They both nearly went round, but they keep going, and they hold on. Incredible stuff. Look at this behind Tero now. Is on the inside to Wilt, and he's going to get the position now. Or is he? DeWilt's not giving up, but Tero isn't either, and Tero gets the move done. And, oh, this racing is incredible between these guys. As look at this, manages to get through now. So Waring into third, McGlade back down to fourth, and Yunt continues to hold on. But that gap to Oscar now, 8 seconds. Oscar Hardwick is absolutely flying. Well, look at the teammates now, side by side down towards Degner 1. Surely not down to Degner 1. They won't. And look at that, Waring is through into second place. Yunt now down to third. And there you go. So some big switching going on here as we head into the final phase of this race.
So at the moment right now with the two THR drivers, it's Andrew Waring who clearly seems to be the fastest, and he's starting to open it up just a bit on David Junt, although Junt's not fading away too soon. And that's very interesting to see. As you mentioned, David Junt's now still feeling the pressure from Lewis McClay. I'll tell you what, that was an incredible exchange there that they didn't take each other out in that little collision. They only swapped positions, and they're still going, and they've still got a very good chance at a podium finish. Both Waring and McGlade, and also David Junt holding on to that last podium position. I'll tell you what, I don't know how many fans of the old Japanese Touring Car Championship we have watching this stream, but I can imagine if they had seen the races that the likes of Kazuyoshi Hoshino and Naoki Hattori, Takeya Kurosawa, and even Tom Christensen had at this track on the East Circuit, this has certainly got to be up on par with some of those events from way back in the day. Look at this. Oscar Hardwick, though, in a class of his own as the field behind him continues to slug it out. Remco de Vilt's now dropped to 7th as Alexander Kolakovic has made the move for 6th. And right now, it looks like there's a bit of a gap between 2nd and 5th and 6th and 7th. So this is really kicking off now.
Yeah, indeed. No, that was because Alexander was trying to hard with DeWilt throughout the second half of that lap, which is what's dropped him off the back as DeWilt having to go around the outside. Get some grass there, manages by. He is going to have to concede the spot now to Alexander, as now he moves into 6th spot in his recovery from the incident earlier on. And yeah, no, Warren continues to lead this pack, but he isn't really gapping just yet. Obviously, the slipstream would be helping that, but yeah, he's not really gapped him like I thought he would. In fact, Yunt's actually all over the back of Warren. That's very interesting indeed, but yeah, Oscar continues to lead, 8.6 seconds now. He's having an absolute dream race here as Tero is having a little bit of a look there at McGlade in the left-hander. I think he thought there of the move after seeing what happened earlier on in the race as someone tried to pass someone through that particular corner. But as we go along now, Waring still in 2nd spot though from Yunt. I'll just quickly, I don't really want to take my eyes off that battle because it's so intense, but looking back, there is still battles going on further back. Patterson and Olsen are still going at it over 8th spot, and even behind them.
Yeah, they haven't left each other's side.
Yeah, and and Bell and Tamas there.
Contact goes wide, way wide, almost into the tire barriers.
Yeah, and Mike there's going for a move down through Degner 2 and just gave him a bolt hip and shoulder there. Just basically went bang, just gave him a old bump off the track, and Tamas just had nowhere to go. Yeah, so he drops a couple of spots now. I think Tobias Rona there got a spot 2 out of that, so he drops to 13th now. And look at even back in like 16th here, got guys battling. 2 Raptors of Charles there and Lorenzo are both battling, and even back into the field there's a pack of guys battling. For sort of 24th or so, there's about 4 of them battling there. So no matter where you look, there's battles happening everywhere. You just can't escape it. It's so much happening here in this race as we go along, but is still Oscar Hardwick leading. Look at this, Waring really having to defend from David Yunt. He was right behind him. I wouldn't expect anything maybe happen here between these two. You think they'd keep it pretty polite, as they are teammates, of course, so they wouldn't want to go too ridiculous on their aggressiveness on each other. But yeah, there you go. It's actually Tolberg now is actually in 4th. So there you go. McGlade's dropped another spot. He's going to drop back a little bit. He's actually dropped off the back of this fight now. So interesting to see there, as he's going to have Alexander behind him very soon indeed. But yeah, they're going along now. 5 minutes to go in this race. We're in the last sort of probably 2 or 3 laps to go. It's going to be interesting to see who wins this 2nd place fight, because I'm pretty sure at this point Oscar Hardwick has this race pretty much sewn up.
But you don't want to put anything on ice just yet. We've seen things fall apart much later on in the race. Tero Dahlberg really has the pace in his Mitsubishi. He's up in the 4th. He knows he's going to get a big jump into these championship standings. He came into this race 12th. This could be a very productive outing, especially if he can get around the 2 THR cars. That'll put him in an extremely advantageous position. He's looking up the inside of David Junt at a very tough place to pass. Ask Nigel Mansell how treacherous that part of the track is He had a very, very bad accident in 87 here. Suffered some injuries that may have taken him out of that championship and handed the title to his teammate Nelson Piquet. But so many drivers, of course, that is a very, very difficult part of the track to really nail down your execution, nail down those smooth flowing laps. Auburn's kind of backed off a bit now. He's let Waring and Junt fight for each other up ahead of him, so he's still fourth. He's got a bit of a more comfortable margin now, so not right on the back bumper of him. And McGlade's starting to find the pace, though he's starting to get back. It's been a real seesaw battle throughout the field. Olsen's now moved up into 8th ahead of Pattison, so they're not really side-by-side anymore. Anders Nilsson is 10th ahead of Mike Bell. So we've got some races, it's all kind of evening out, but I wonder in these last couple minutes, when will these drivers start to attack? When will these drivers start to make those pushes for position as the minutes start to tick down, and as the laps start to tick down as well? Look at this! These are two teammates, Andrew Waring and David Junt. They're pretty much racing nose to tail. Forget team orders. They back off a bit just for the sake of courtesy, but only just so.
Oh. Yeah, no, indeed. I'm actually watching the McGlade Alexander battle behind him because Alexander ran the outside into the triangle. He's gone. Why no, he hasn't? There you go. Alexander gets it done. On the outside of the triangle. Casual if you like. Great move from him. But yeah, look at that now. We've got Junt under the pump from Tero now. Look at oh no, Alexander and Lewis are behind. Surely not going to try and go 3 wide again. No, Alexander's too far back. But here we go. Tero looking in the inside. But Junt just keeps moving. Nearly like a Vettel Levy moment there as they went down towards turn 1. But there you go, Tero manages to not get the move done as Junt defends, but he nearly sticks it up the inside there. Junt having to give room to go through the second part of the first corner. Junt's still ahead, but Tero just will not yield. He's like a terrier, just keep coming at David Junt. Junt holds on for the time being. This is helping Waring, by the way. He's now got a nice little gap of about a second back to these guys. And it's helping Alexander now because he's on this battle now as well. So big battle going on here as this is for the podium as well. But yeah, no, very interesting stuff indeed. Probably the battle to watch as we have 2 minutes to go, so this might well be the final lap. I think it'll be the 1 or 2 laps to go now.
This would be the penultimate lap, just based on the calculations here, because we may have about a lap and a half more to go before we run out of time. So we're looking at right now a situation where Oscar Hardwick, and he has just driven an absolute masterclass. He's 8.5 seconds up ahead of the field. He has not finished outside of the top 5 all this season, and I know the season has not been long, but still. Whoa, look at this! Whoa, goodness! Dahlberg, Kolakovic, it's all kicking off.
Yeah, sorry, now look at that Tero just, wow, that was a bit of a chain reaction there. So basically, Junt there defending the inside, and Tero, I think, probably was thinking, was probably trying to go for the inside there, and unfortunately, Junt was just kind of there defending the line. So Tero gave him a bump into the hairpin, and then on the exit, he's kind of just almost sort of shoved Alexander off the track there, kind of gone, oh, you're beside me, that's a shame, I'm just going to move across anyway as they go through the end of Spoon here. Now Junt under the pump from Tero. Good exit from Tero there, a little bit of contact into again as Junt was going across to defend. Down towards 130R. Look at that. Andrew Waring is absolutely gone now as these guys are fighting along. He's loving this as he just gets away. Junt almost is like a rear gunner for him here as they go through 138. I reckon Tero will have a look again into the... oh no, please don't try and go through wide into the triangle. That will not end well. Look at this Alexander on the outside. Lewis McGlade's there as well. Junt defending big time. Look at this Alexander. Will he make the move on Tero? He does. Round the outside. Amazing move from Alexander. They're very opportunistic. As Tero was too busy, I think, attacking Junt to realise what was going on there almost like he was caught napping there as Alexander went round the outside. But look at this, the slipstream Dahlberg now as they go down the main straight. He'll have a look surely into turn 1. It's Alexander not really getting that advantage of slipstream from Junt. Let's have a look down the inside, goes Tero, will he commit? Yeah, he's committed there, but he's not deep enough. Alexander takes 4th spot, there you go. So he's now on the back of Junt. Can he challenge for the podium? We shall see. Although
final lap this time. This is the final lap. We're on the final lap. So if these drivers are going to make a move, it is now. So we're going to complete 14 laps, and then this is going to be in the books. Oscar Hardwick has driven an absolute masterclass, while behind him, many explosive battles for position. The battle for the final spot of the podium in this first race is still kicking off. And then to think, we've got a very short reset, and then another 30 minutes of this immediately after this.
It's going to be crazy, isn't it, really? I mean, after this race, I don't know what to expect as we go on the final lap now. Oscar Harvick pretty much has this sewn up. We know he's going to have this at this point. He's just got to really bring it home. So it should be a pretty easy win for him at this point. With the one to focus on is this battle for third. Yunt defends into the hairpin. Alexander's going to have to go around the outside. Blue trying to hold. No, he's going to try and get the... Contact again. Yeah, Yunt just came straight across and went, no way, Jose, you going around the outside there, something him. And he holds that line for the time being. Yunt's still holding on, but Alexander is right behind. And I reckon the triangle. The triangle's where he's going to have to go, because he's already passed McGlade and Tero into the triangle. That's where he's made his moves stick most of the time, although he might even try and the spoon as Yunt's run wide. And yeah, look at that, Alexander's down the inside, but Yunt was ready. He tried to do the switchback, and he's not made sticks. Alexander into third. He's recovered to the podium. A great recovery drive from Alexander. We'll have to keep an eye on that battle, but it is Oscar Harvick leading as he goes down towards the triangle. Keep an eye on this battle for third for the time being. Is Yunt now having a look through 130R? Surely not. Oh no, and Tero wants to have a look too. No way are they going to try and go 3 wide through there. Oh, Yunt makes the move stick. Oh, he's gone wide. Out of the triangle, he's gone wide. This will go back to Oscar Harvick. He's about to cross the line now. He wins race 1 here at Japan, here at Suzuka. Great race from Oscar Harvick. We'll quickly now go back to third. It's Tero to third, but Alexander's fourth.
Look at this! Holy cow!
Crazy Tero. Yeah, he's going to snag it out of nowhere. What a drive from him. Fantastic drive from Dolberg. And what's happened to... Oh no, I think Alexander's run out of fuel. Run out of fuel on the final lap.
Across the line, just short on the fuel tank.
Oh.
My goodness, what a race!
Oh, so apologies to anyone there, for anyone in here who's listening with headphones or earphones. Hopefully we didn't explode your ears or anything there, because that end was just wow. Yeah, that finish. Wow, I just don't know what to say. But yeah, Oscar Harvick wins race 1 here at the Suzuka circuit. Let's be honest. A great race from him there, as we said, masterclass from Oscar. Great race from Andrew Waring too there, a nice comfortable second in the end as he got away from that fight for third spot. Tero Dolberg though, gets the surprise third spot. He was there at the right time, the right place. He gets third from Dave Young in fourth. Good solid race from Lewis McGlade as well in fifth. Good stuff from him from 10th on the grid. Remco de Wild, good stuff from him as well to be sixth there. He was in that battle the whole race and gets sixth. Alexander, bit of a shame for him. A good recovery drive to get back to looking like a podium until unfortunately there, as you saw, ran out of fuel on the very last straight. Meters from the end, he ran out of fuel, I would assume is what it was. He gets home in 7th, crawls across the line for 7th spot, so still some good points for him. Craig Patterson ended up getting 8th there, so good stuff from him. Mike Bell, 9th. Just the 5th Dimension Smile Power Racing, and his teammate Anders Nielsen brings home the top 10, and Tobias Olsen in 13th. So I suspect maybe an instant there with Tobias, because he was up in 8th. Only a couple of minutes from the end there, so interesting stuff to see there. Whew, boy, RJ, that was... I don't know about you, that was a very action-packed race from my view.
Right, indeed. Yes, absolutely. That was fantastic stuff. As we've come to see over the years, no matter what category, Suzuka Circuit delivers fantastic racing. And hey, we've only got a small reset, and then we're gonna do this all over again. We're gonna invert the full field, and then we're gonna go back to another 30 minutes of racing. So at the moment, I'm looking down this grid. We're looking at some of the, and it looks like provisional pole sitter for the second race this week will be Michael Klein for Roadhouse Racing, who finished all the way back at 30th. So thanks to the inverted field, he's going to start up on pole position with Will New joining him on the front row. And Ranjan Kumar, I highlighted him before the race started. It was a bit of a tough break, but the way it's shaking out, it looks like he's going to get a good top 10 spot and be right up there in contention for a win, assuming, of course, he can hold on to that position up towards the front of the field and keep making the moves. But as we kind of see over the last 2 rounds of the championship, it's all going to be about how these front runners make their way up to the front of the field, because you know they're coming, you know they have the pace to contend for victories, and it's just going to be a matter of how many risks they're willing to take, how many risks they're willing to take at the expense of their own races, at the expense of the other drivers' races around them, perhaps to make these positions up and improve their championship standings.
Yeah, and indeed, that's very true. Sorry, you can finish off, RJ, sorry.
Yeah, definitely, and Tero Dahlberg with that third place finish is going to move way up in the points out of this, surely. Remco de Wild, a 6th place finish, another solid result from the Dutchman. Going to move up the field. 2 drivers, of course, in the top 15, unfortunately not with us this weekend, but we are going to have the second of two races starting up momentarily. We're just going to resync and then reset, and then we're going to do this all over again. We have 23 seconds until the start of the second race. It is all going to start kicking off here.
Indeed, no, it's going to be heck stuff as, ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, got a few, hopefully things are okay. Yes, second race, we're about to start, 5 seconds apparently is what I'm seeing here. Until we go live, could be interesting notes, apparently we're on pole, but anyway, we're about to go green, I think, apparently. Here we go, okay, so here we go as we start the second race. Very, very quick change there between the races, although we are away, as there's Michael Klein leading them away off the line, and look there, he's going actually got a very nice start, I must say, as he's leading from Will New. Who is that? That is...
Look at this! Almost 4 wide going into turn 1.
Yeah!
Christopher Reddow's really shoving things up into the front. So we're going to highlight in the early laps some of these drivers who we normally didn't see in the first race. It is really kicking off here. My goodness!
Yeah, apologies for the confusion. I was a little confused. I think the server's still trying to adjust the run being switched around. So the positions are a little bit, I think, confused at the moment as the server just adjusts to what's going on. But it is actually Michael Klein leading at the moment. So leading away at the moment from Will New in second spot. Good stuff from him. So good start, Michael Klein. He's got a nice start. And I think he's got a little gap on. No, he doesn't. Don't worry about that. Will New is right behind him as they go down towards the Degnan as he defends there. Klein as they go into Degnan 1. That's surely not going to pass down to there. It's near suicide in the opening laps. But he still leads from Will New as they go through Degnan 2 now. Look at how close everyone is behind as they go through the early laps here. And then look back, Terra Delberg at the back, I believe, at the moment. So here we go. Yep, now the order should not iron out. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. That was having a look down the inside of Will New as they went into the hairpin. Klein holds on. Moves second to out. Will New's got a much better exit and he's back in the second spot. And then behind him, I believe that is Retros there in 7th. Or actually, I think it's about 5th, battling at the back of that field. But he's still Klein leading at the moment. I'm looking back at all the 2 ice cold. Is that? No, it's Ben Axon and I believe one of the... it's Paul Watkins, that's right. It's the 94th F battling further back. That's small. Still Michael Klein leading from Will New as we go along here in the early stages of this second race. It looks like we could have an interesting one as they run down to 130R.
Jordan Golda looking really racy in the Grealish racing entry. He's at third. He's right beside Will New. He's holding on a position. He's looking very, very competitive in the early stages of this race, and this is where it starts to get dicey because you have the front runners from the last race starting to pick up that pace, and they got to side their way through this field, but they want to make sure that they're not doing it in an irresponsible manner. Klein's doing the job so far, though. He's holding off this field. He's got a bit of a healthy margin as we start the second of the second lap, so we could have another 14-lap race on our hands if it plays out as the first race did.
Indeed, yeah. I'm kind of hoping the server's going to eke out. No, it's not. All right, apologies if the timing probably is being a little bit off on the stream. Apologies for that. So we'll do our best to cover this. I think the server's having a little bit of an issue trying to adjust to the quick change between races, but hopefully it will sort itself out as we go along. But it is Michael Klein leading from Will New on there behind. Oh no,
someone's off. Lewis McLean is off. Lewis McLean's off at the first quarter.
Oh. What's happened there? Let's have a look. I'll try and go back and find out what happened there in the replay, but yeah, he was nearly 3 wide down the main straight. They were quite action-packed back there. Ooh, looks like contact between him and David Young. Ooh, yeah, and he just went straight off as he made a bit of contact there with David Young. That's what sent him round, so real drama from McGlade. It says he's in 21st. I don't think that's quite right, though. We'll do our best to try and configure that properly, but yeah, big moment there from McGlade. He loses out now. As Michael Klein there having the lights on through the Degners. Don't know what happened there. Maybe a little bit of a moment with one of the other drivers. But he is still leading at the moment as we go along there. Will New looking to the outside as they go into the hairpin. Arn there behind as well. A bit of bump to bump there as they went through the hairpin. Bit of almost a pinball effect. But it is still Michael Klein. Still leading. I'm quite impressed, I must say. I mean, I think he was quite a ways off the back of Will New at the end of that first race. But he is holding on the lead. And they've got a nice gap back to, who is that in the next spot? Sergio, I think that is it? No, sorry, Vedros, I think it is. Next back in there, but it is still him leading. I'm trying to keep an eye on where are the leaders. I think Breslin there. Breslin actually side by side with Watkins, further back in the field. Olsen battling there as well, so it's a good little battle in the midfield. But yeah, going along, it has been an interesting start to the race. A little bit more sedated apart from McGlade going off at turn 1. As Will New now, look at this, having a look down towards the 130R. But he gets back in the slipstream. Beck thinks better off. He'll probably have a look down to the triangle. down the inside would be my guess. And look at that, and even Arn behind, he's looking quite feisty there as well behind. There's someone off in the background. Wilner there. Look around the outside line, goes wide, and Wilner, they both go wide. And the triangle of the ball going wide. Arn is just going to take the lead. Oh, bit of different ride, but Arn just goes, thank you very much, and just takes that gift wrap lead. He now leads. And Christopher Vedros there in spot. Sergio now in third. Michael Klein drops to fourth. Look at that, Paul Joseph having a look down the inside, and Wilner. They're almost going 3-1 to turn 1. And I'll tell you what, RJ, he's all kicking off now.
Right, indeed. And just to explain the timing error that we're seeing is, Dopaja has a big slide. So he's going to fall in the clutch of Christopher Redis. We have at least a huge handful of drivers that are being listed as having not finished the race, even though they're clearly out on track and competing for position. A couple drivers, so it's a bit of a timing and scoring issue. Nothing too serious. It just makes our jobs a little slightly more difficult trying to keep track of where everybody is out on the track at the moment. But what we can tell you is that Arn Dopaja is leading this race from Christopher Paredes in second. Sergio Manuel in third. Paul Joseph is in fourth. And Michael Klein is fifth, so he hasn't lost too much ground out of that really clumsy entry into the Casino Triangle. But obviously lost the lead of this race at this point in time. Dopaja really stretching things out, just trying to keep touch of where all of our front runners are at this point, because it's really shuffling around.
Sorry, no, just sort of Tobias Olsen there in the head and had a little bit of a moment there. I think he's behind one of the Raptor cars. I'm not sure which one again. Apologies for trying to sort of on the fly come up with this because his timing is a little bit buggered up. The guys further back, so we're sort of just trying to make judgments here. Says Tero is said to be in 17th. I think that's probably around about right. So he's making good progress through the field. Oscar Harvick's just ahead of him in 16th apparently. So good stuff from Oscar as he's now looking down the inside. Going a bit wide there, sorry, a bit of lag, but yep, Oscar gets the move done, and he now moves up another spot. Trying to catch up to what's going on here, it is still, that's Christopher now leading. He's gone down the inside of Arn to go down towards 130. He now takes the lead from Dopaja. Dopaja's going to be looking around the outside of the triangle. We have a repeat of last lap where everyone kind of went wide the triangle. Let's have a look as they managed to get through, no worries. So Christopher holds on in the lead of the race. Good stuff for him as he leads from Arn. Where is Michael Klein? He's now apparently in 6th spot. Yeah, he's dropped back a bit now. So Michael just dropping back now. A little bit of the faster guys coming through. Wilmer as well. He's dropped back to 8th spot as the fast guys start to sort themselves out. So a little bit of a shame for him. He was up there at the front initially, but he had some good fights there. I will say, and he did hold on for quite some time. So credit to Michael. As look at that, Christopher under the pump from Arn. Arn's gone wide. He's off at turn 1, but he manages to hold on. Good recovery there, and he actually holds on the 2nd spot.
Drama.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sorry, Oscar Harvick as well was around turn 1, so everyone getting a bit loose here in the second race as we are 7 minutes in.
And Angelo Dos Santos has worked his way up into the field, and so has Lorenzo Bonder, even over time in scoring. And just as I say that, Angelo Dos Santos, that's the second really sketchy rejoining of the track right in front of the field, of course. But unfortunately there, I don't think there was anything he could have done about that. That's one of the most treacherous places to rejoin to the track by default. And with that field just coming up right behind him, you really have to take the leap of faith and get back on the track. Thankfully, Dos Santos has not lost too much positions, although he has lost. He's still out of shape. Goodness.
Yeah, indeed. No, that's very true. Yeah, he's having a few moments there. Dos Santos in 10th now. Actually, I think it's actually 8th. Who's that? That is somebody who's one of the roughies having a look down the inside. They went through that. That's one of the T8 cars behind through that state of Yunt. Behind this battle, so he's up in about, I would say it should be about 12th or so thereabouts. As he's actually having a look down the inside. The Raptor car just sort of came across there and nearly caused a big crash. Thankfully they avoid it for the time being, but he is on between those two as Yunt trying to go around the outside in the spoon curve. He can be very brave to do that. I'll just try and find him here on my list. Sorry for that. There we go, got him. As he's still behind though, he hasn't made any stick Yunt. He's going to stick behind as they go out of the spoon curve down towards 130R. And that battle's really kicking off, but he's still Vedros there leading from and then it's Paul Joseph in 3rd in the Mighty 4th. So good stuff from Paul Joseph here. He's managed to get up the field and get through the early sort of shenaniganry to be on the podium for the time being. Goodbye. Who's that? Who's that?
That's Bjorn Golda. That's Bjorn Golda, who has had a wild ride. He got it all wrong at the approach to the triangle, and he has run off the track.
Yeah, oh no, oh! Big crash. Further back, Waring's involved.
Oh, goodness.
Tolberg's involved. Watkins is involved. Massive crash at this out of 130. I'll try and recover what happened here. But a mammoth crash. And who started? Oh no, it was the two, I think it was the two of the Mighty Force. I think it was Bresnan and possibly Watkins started that. And then poor Coon was an innocent bystander. So was Waring. So was Tolberg. They just had nowhere to go. And they've all gotten involved. Really big shame. There as it is, you got Kuma's retired, unfortunately, with that crash, massive crash further to the back. That's going to have big ramifications in the championship, as I'll try and find where Waring is. He's still going on. It says he's in 30th. I think he's probably actually in about, I'd say 25th or so would be my guess. But big drama. There's a massive crash, multi-car crash, and that's whole Goldberg too. He's down in, I believe, got to be about 28th or so there in that car. So big crash at 130R, and you know, we always know, don't we, RJ? 130R always brings out the big crashes here at Suzuka.
Pascal and McNish from 2002, and that crash certainly would have put out a safety car, of course, in a real environment. But everybody's recovered. They're either off the track now or they have recovered to rejoin the race. These cars can take a beating for sure. Mr. Beretta's still up front ahead of Dopaja and Paul Joseph, and Lorenzo Bonner and Sergio Menguel get it all wrong in the fifth. They were battling for position, and then they're both off. They've gotten together, and they're still really coming together. So they've lost out on all that position.
And Bonder's actually back with Dolberg now, so it seems like a bit of a red mist, kind of a bit of the chaos from the server's timing seems to be transferring into the races. Oh no, oh! Well, Santos and Bell into the stand. Harvick's involved. A bit of, more contact. Gee, mist is just coming down. All the drivers are starting to go a little bit crazy here. A lot of contact there. That was nearly 3 wide through a swing curve, which is just a big no-no.
They're going to have to calm this down at some point. I know that this is early stages in a race with the inverted grid, but they are going to have to calm it down just a bit. We're seeing a multitude of accidents. I think really it could be dialed down just a bit, if not more than just a bit by any stretch of the imagination. We're still only...
just saw that Bonder's retired, unfortunately. So Bonder is retired now from the race. He's back in the garage, so big shame for him up. You know, looking good for some good solid points from him. So a shame for Bonder. But yeah, but that after all this carnage, mind it is still Christopher Vedros leading the race at the moment. He's managed to gap behind. He still leads, although that is those top 3 are all pretty static. They've also just kept the same in the last few laps. They've actually got a nice little gap back to Olsen. But look at that, Tobias Olsen is in 4th spot. And we know his pace is good, so I'd be keeping an eye out for him to maybe be challenging in top 3s. Look at this, Bell and Dos Santos. Oh, still going at it through the first sector. Santos is off. He's round. Oh, he's gone round into the wall. Big contact there. Let's hope he rejoins. Okay. Yes, he does. Okay, I just didn't really see the camera angle, but he's rejoined probably back in, I'd say, about 18th or so. So a real shame for him. But yeah, it's all getting a bit hectic here, as I said. I guess, you know, the red mist has come down with the reverse grid, always tends to. In these touring car races. Breslin also in the pits, by the way, so presumably that's probably from the crash he had earlier on. I hope he may even be retiring that. I'm not really sure, because he's dropped so far off the back now that he won't gain any positions, you wouldn't think, at this point in the race. So we'll see what happens there. But it is still Vedros leading the race. And this is just showing, isn't it, really, RJ, that if you just keep your nose, then you can gain big time here. As you know, Vedros aren't there, even Paul Joseph. They're not usually up in the top 3. And look at them there. They're down, the top 3 spots, and just from keep their nose clean.
Right, well, all this action is kicking off behind him. The mistakes are really compounding for Angelo Dos Santos, one of only 2 Brazilian drivers in this field in this very Brazilian-themed sim. Of course, the other, Lorenzo Bonder, in this field is already retired from the race, and Beto Nascimento is not even here this weekend. So not the best outing for the Brazilian contingent that they could have hoped for. But it is still a great race going up onto the top 3. But the top 3 drivers, Verettos, Dopaja, and Joseph, they all got to be wary of Tobias Olsen closing in. This is a championship contender. We know he's got the pace to contend. He was a bit unlucky in the first race, but he's going to come charging like crazy. He's going to turn into fast laps. He was 3.4 seconds behind on that last lap. I want to see how he comes across.
Oh, sorry, another. Oh, his moves off. Wilmer's gone off at the triangle. He's gone wide to see if he rejoins. Okay, yep, good rejoin from Will there. Not initially in contact with anyone, so good recovery from Will. But yeah, just had a little bit of a bumping moment with one of the other cars. I didn't catch who that was, but yeah, just a little bit of a contact moment that sent him onto the grass in the braking zone. He went straight on the triangle, so a bit more the moment. That pack actually there, I think it's the back end of the 10. Look at how close they are. Who's that? That's one of the cars. They're nearly going 3 wide into turn 1 as they go into turn 1 here in this battle in the midfield. They're all getting very, very close. They're 3 wide back there. It's one of the THRs involved. I think there's Warren, yeah, back in the midfield. So they're all getting very, very close in this midfield battle here. And I think, as I said, I think that's at the back end of the 10. Again, with the timing errors, it's hard to tell, but I'm fairly sure it's the back end of the 10. As they go along, oh no, Craig Patterson, McGlade, contact there, further back than Ennis going. That's how Warring now get past McGlade. I think that's DeWilt behind McGlade having a look as well. So they're all very, very close in that midfield battle, and it's all getting quite different bars at the moment. They're being two touring cars, they can take quite a beating. I think the damage is only 50% on the service. The damage is pretty low in this series, but yeah, still got to be careful. Look at this for the lead. It is Vedros and Arn there going side by side in the hairpin. Arn's going to try to go around the outside, but surely he can't do it around the outside of the hairpin, and he's going to have to back in line behind Vedros. Look at that, Paul Joseph right behind, but look at that, looming ever closer is Tobias Olsen. He just keeps coming to those 3, and he's looking very, very threatening in that battle forward lead. And notice as well, Oscar Harvick not far behind either, and neither is Mike Bell as well. They're all sort of close behind. So don't put them out as well to maybe be fighting for that sort of top 3 positions by the end of the race.
Goodness, no, Hardwick is already well up into the top 10 in the race at this point. Olsen is really, really starting to close in on the lead trio as they are all battling for position. Is Dobin going to try the outside move going into 130R? I don't think it's going to work. He's going to keep it locked in anyway. Oh, and he gets a bit sideways, but he keeps it down. Oh, and it looks like Dobich is going to make the move. So he keeps committed. He keeps the commitment, and he goes in the lead of this race. So that's the 3rd lead change of this race. We've had 3 different leaders, and look at this. Look at this, Olsen and Paul Joseph now. Olsen is now caught up. He's in the podium place.
No, indeed, exactly. Olsen is there, as we said. Look out for him. Look at this now. Look at this. Arn under pressure again from Vedros. He's going to go back down the inside. Oh, contact between the 2. And that's going to let Tobias straight through. Tobias, look at that, like a cat, just straight in there. Just saw the chance and was like, bang, straight down the inside. Great little opportunistic move there from Tobias, seeing Arn go wide. Look at that. Here's right at the back of Vedros there. And we know how quick Tobias is. He's going to be a lot faster than Vedros. At this moment of the race, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see Tobias move past very, very soon. And as I said, keep in mind, Mike Bell and Oscar Harwick are not far behind, so keep an eye out for them as well to be coming through and possibly getting involved in that battle for the lead very, very soon indeed. But look at this, here we go, Tobias Olsen at the right hand has got down the inside, and the Degners, he's going to get done. He is indeed. Great move from Tobias there. Good commitment through the Degners. Move done. He now leads for Ice Cold Racing, and surely he's going to try and gap these guys as fast as he can, because he's got a whole bunch of guys coming at him from behind. I think David Yunt actually as well is the next man in line. I think he's in 5th spot, so look out for him as well to be fighting in that pack very, very soon.
Dopicha with a big, big lunge up at the inside of Redis for what is now 2nd position. Tobias Olsen having a really, really solid race, and at this point I think he can gap these cars that had started up towards the front of the race, because we know his speed is a bit more real than some of those other drivers, and that's no disrespect. This is a solid field of competitors. 13 minutes left to go in this race. I think Tobias Olsen is in a very strong position to go away with the lead of this race to the finish. Just to clarify a couple things here, we noticed that a couple of drivers, at least on our time and scoring screen, are being shown as having not finished, so it is affecting some front runners, including David Junt, Mike Bell, Thomas Pazzi, who are, well, they're still very clearly running out on track, but they're not shown as such. It's really kind of throwing things off for us, but we are going to try and work around it the best that we can.
Yeah, and so just seeing that Arn's got back past Vedros again, and yet again he's gone around the outside of the triangle, so Arn just loving those outside moves, because apparently the inside a bit too simple, but it was good defence though from Vedros, which is why he had to go around the outside. But look at this, Vedros is in.
Look at this. Unbelievable stuff that we're seeing.
And Vedros down the inside, look at that, into turn 1, as he got the move done, he has. So these 2, and oh no, look, Arn's going to try and get the switch back. No, he won't get it done, but notice who's right behind him, David Yunt. It's right there behind him, and I think as well, Michael and Oscar Harwick are all right behind him, has got off the 2nd spot. So how long will these 2 hold him to the podium? Only time will tell.
Right, look at, and I always saw Arn Dopicha almost break himself going in the first corner, and that's happened so many times over the course of these races. So right now, it is Tobias Olsen, and he is already opening up a huge margin on the second and third place cars for Edison Dopicha. David Junt is in fourth, Mike Bell is in fifth, and Oscar Hardwick is in sixth place. So that's your top six they run right now. Kawujicek is still up in the field. He's behind Machado and Pazzi, well up in the field, though a bit of a ways back in this lead pack. Again, it's a fun mess, basically. David Junt's moving up into the inside on moving on Dopicha, and he almost got two birds with one stone with that passing move. So David Junt really not taking any chances here. He's going for it.
Yeah, indeed. No, good move there from Junt. Although look at that, Arne's not giving up. He's still fighting to the death here with David Junt as they go down towards the spoon curve, and Junt finally gets the move done. Paul Joseph actually is behind Arne there in effective fifth, I believe that is. So Paul Joseph is there, but then right behind him is Oscar Harbour, because Arne's gone wide. He's gone off out of the spoon onto the grass. It's going to give Paul Joseph a prime opportunity to go down the inside. Look at that. Paul Joseph straight down the inside. They head down towards the spoon curve. Look at Junt.
It is so close for comfort. They're coming together here. And Junt's going to make the move on the outside. Oh, he's all four off. So he's got to get back to position, but he still has an opportunity to set this up in the triangle. If he can get the braking just right as he did. Dopicha with a huge lunge up on the inside. He's not going away anytime soon.
No, Dopicha just went straight down the inside. Gold lunge on Junt. I think Junt thankfully saw that coming and gave the room, so there wasn't a big whack between the two, but a big old lunge from Arne. Didn't work in the end. Look at this. He's in the slipstream of Junt as they go down towards turn one. He pulls out to the inside of Junt. Oh, wow. A bit of a late move there from Junt. Got to watch that. You don't want to wipe someone out with that. But look at Oscar Hardwick. Oscar Hardwick gets the move done on Joseph behind. But Joseph now drops back a spot as Oscar Hardwick.
And he's now ahead of Dopicha. Oscar Hardwick is continuing to pick off positions one after another. And now he's closed in on David Junt, who's having a real rocket time as he climbs through the field.
No, indeed, and that means that now Oscar Hardwick's fourth. So Junt is the guy on the podium. And again, what were we saying? He hasn't finished outside the top five all season. He's in fourth. So if Oscar Hardwick keeps going like this, he's going to be inside the top five again. So he's showing why he's leading the championship, Oscar Hardwick. This is really what he's showing at the moment. After that first race domination and this, this recovery, obviously having started at the rear and fighting through the fourth, really impressive stuff. From the MWRT driver, but it is still Redrose in second spot as we've said. Tobias Olsen now 4 seconds clear in the lead of this battle pack behind. So good stuff from Tobias now as he really ekes out that lead. And surely at this point you've got to be thinking he's looking quite promising to win this race. Still some time though, still 8 minutes to go in this race. As Redrose though under big pressure from David Junt. Oscar Hardwick behind him, there's Paul Joseph behind there. Arne Topicha still in, I think that's actually effective fifth, I think. Again, the timing, as we've been saying, is a bit interesting at the moment. So we're trying to do the best we can. But Junt round the outside, the spoon on Vedros. So all the way around the outside. He's going to make that stick, surely. Not very brave move. A bit of hip and shoulder there from Vedros. He holds the position for the time being. But look at that angry pack behind. He's got Junt, he's got Hardwick, he's got Bell. And even Joseph not far behind there. So a big pack here of cars. As Junt looking to the inside. But Oscar Hardwick as well is behind Junt. Sure, he's not going to go 3 wide. No, he doesn't there. Hardwick's be smart there and just stick in behind. Look at that Junt down the inside.
A bit of tandem drafting, a little bit of contact. Oscar Hardwick's going to pounce. He's got the outside lane of the triangle. He's side by side with David Junt. He's going to try and outbreak him. It's all kicking off here. Wow. Oh my goodness, a bit of a touch there. Bell's right on the back of the bumper of this field. Brenos has dropped down to fourth now out of this exchange, so Hardwick's on the podium. Hardwick is on the podium. He's still got time to chase down David Junt for second.
Yeah, indeed. No, he's into it. Redrose is knocking up without a fight. Look at this. He's looking down the inside of Hardwick into turn one. Wow, Hardwick just goes across there and says, no, thank you. Very brave stuff there. From him to just come across there. It could have ended in disaster if Vedros really committed. But Bell is through as well. Vedros makes a little mistake, and that gets Bell through now into effective fourth spot. Junt second, Hardwick third, Bell fourth, Vedros fifth, Joseph in sixth. He's got Arne Topicha there fighting him for that spot there. They're both in a nice little fight. Then it's McLeod, not far behind. I think he's in effective ninth. I think one of the Raptors is actually between them. Yep, that's Abacchio there. He's, I believe, in effective 7th or 8th. Again, we're just trying to do the best we can here with the timing glitches. But yeah, no, very interesting stuff. Tobias Olsen, though, still leading. But now look at this. Oscar Hardwick all over the back of David Junt, 4th, 2nd spot. And I'm sure Oscar Hardwick would love to get on the spot here, as that would really help his championship hopes, and that would really extend that gap quite a lot. With a win in the second spot in the 2 races, that's going to be pretty much a perfect round for him. I don't think Oscar could really hope for much better than that.
An early decisive advantage, and with the closest championship rival already unable to participate, and with so many other drivers failing to keep touch, it's going to be a pivotal weekend of the championship for Oscar Hardwick. And if he can keep up this momentum, and as I said, this young man with a great acumen for sim racing, a really fine driver, and he's proven that all season long. He's put the pedal down. He has kept his head in the game, and he is really going at it as Oscar Hardwick as he continues to put the pressure on David Juntz. This is such a difficult place to pass, and he's going to set it up on the outside. Tuck back in, knowing that he can get momentum into the next corner. He's got to be careful of Mike Bell, though. Bell could try and make an opportunistic move. They are 3 wide in the triangle, and as predicted, there is contact. Bell is through, but at what cost?
Yeah. Oh, no, I saw Bell looking, and Mike Bell is, he's the kind of guy who will take the opportunity. He does not die wondering, that's for sure. Bell will take an opportunity if he sniffs it, and I think he sniffed half a chance there, and he just went for it down the inside. Well, big contact there. Look at this Hardwick looking down the inside in the turn 1. Mike Bell just defending the inside line, though, and he just can't make the move stick there, Hardwick, because Bell now, look at this, down the inside, Junt goes wide out at the second part of the first turn, but he's got a good exit, and he should, although Bell flicks it to the inside. Very sudden move there. He's got to watch out that he doesn't unsettle the car too much with such sudden moves of the car, because we are talking about touring cars. We haven't got the most amazing amount of grip in the world, but it is still Tobias Olsen leading by a fair old margin. Thanks to that shenaniganry at the triangle, that's let Olsen really gap the field behind. He's got to have a good 6 or second gap behind, or even more, for that battle for second spot. Vedros, though, is still holding on behind. He's in 5th spot effectively, so good stuff from Vedros. Credit to him. Having started at the front, obviously with the reverse grid, not having to pace the guys around him, but he's still in 5th spot. So credit to Vedros. This could be a really good race for him, and could give him some really good points for his championship campaign.
In order to finish well, you must first finish. To paraphrase a very famous cliche. Oh my goodness! Wow, Mike Bell with a huge slide. My goodness, that could have ended so disastrously. It almost did. And Bell keeps the position, and not only that, he's going to get ahead of David Junt. That's spectacular stuff.
It's all just kicking off, isn't it, really? Bell is just going for it at this late stage of the race. To be fair, it's 3 minutes left, so it's fair enough that you really put all the chips on the table at this point of the race. But Bell now in the 2nd spot from David Junt. And as I said, it's still Oscar Hardwick in 4th spot with Vedros behind Junt there. I think that was just flashing the headlights. I think possibly with a bit of frustration there at Bell. It's something that I know he does do. But look at that, Bell defending the inside line as they go towards 130R. Junt's going to try again to go around the outside. We already saw how this ended last time, but he is not deterred as he goes into 130R. He goes around the outside, he's off track again, and so is Bell. They're both off the track.
They're both off. They're both put all 4 wheels off.
They'll have to hold position, surely, as we go along here. Bell holds on for the time being from Junt, with Oscar Hardwick still behind. And I think, I'm just looking back, where's Arn? I'm trying to find him here as everyone just shuffles around now as everyone goes across the line. But Arn has Lewis McGlade behind him. There's a bit of battle pack there. I think that's back in about a 9th or so spot. And Paul Joseph is involved in that too, as is one of the Raptor cars, and a couple behind aren't having to defend big time from the guys behind. He is still doing alright though. He's just the back end of the 10, so good result possibly from Arn on the cards, but he has an angry pack of cards. Wow, they're not cards, they're cars. Pack of cars battling him there as McGlade makes the move stick, as does Joseph. So Arn there, top 2 spots, a little bit of contact there with Joseph as they're all trying to fight now through the first sector. So it's all, as we've seen in this race, the gloves are off, and everyone's getting very much into this race as we get into the last, I think, 2 laps to go, I would say, in this race as we head towards the end. I'll tell you what, Tobias Olsen, very impressive race from him in that Ice Cold racing car. Another sort of textbook result for him. That could be very good points for his championship hopes.
Olsen entered this race in a joint 4th place with McGlade and Pattison. Pattison, who's not having the best of weekends, still productive, though not as productive as he would have liked. Meanwhile, up at the front, David Junt is still not going away from Mike Bell. You have the feeling that the tempers are starting to get to the point where they're starting to boil over, but you don't want to throw it away at this stage in the race. Let that anger get the best of you. Oscar Hardwick is still on the back bumper of these two as they're fighting it out for second. So he's got to feel like he's just going to drive a smart race and not get too far involved in this, because if these two do get it coming together, then that's going to put Artquick at risk. But he's just driving a smart race so far. He's being really opportunistic, and right there he's almost on the back of David Jump for third place. Excuse me. Completely losing track of all time, position, and manner and material.
Yeah, it's been a crazy second race, I've got to say, with the timing, with the battles, instance, with the big crash at 130R. It's all kicked off in the second race. But look at this, Mike Bell defends down to 130R. Yunt's going to go for it again. Oh, no, Bell just goes across and says, no, thank you. Yunt's going to have to try down the triangle here. He's on the outside, so Bell defends the inside line. Let's have a look here. Yunt will try and hold it in the triangle. I think he might well do it. He's still there. Bell's going to have to give him room, surely. Oh, Bell just comes across there. And in the end, I think Yunt's going to get... No, look at that, Hardwick. Oh, nearly went for the gap there. He thought better of it. No, he's going to get the move on Yunt. Great stuff from Oscar Hardwick there.
He's making the pass on Junt, and now he's going to make the move on Mike Bell on the outside. Look at that.
Wow, just so opportunistic. Very, very smart. That's why nose from Hardwick there. Although Yunt's just gone straight down the inside. That was interesting. Yunt's just gone bonsai. Just yelled out bonsai. Down the inside he goes. Off Hardwick. Thankfully, I think Hardwick saw him coming, so gave the room. But I was just going to say, very smart driving from Hardwick there. He's been hanging on behind these two. He doesn't want to... I think he wants to take the points. He's thinking championship here. He's thinking, rather than try and throw away the big points with a crash, I'm just going to play it smart, not do anything too risky, and get the points in the end, whether that be, third, fourth, fifth, second, wherever. The more points, the better. So he's playing it safe, and he nearly took that position there through the triangle. It was very smart driving. Saw they went side by side, waited for him to make a mistake, and then tried to make a pass. But Yunt went for it again in turn one and got back as we are on the final lap, and this battle keeps going on.
Right, so we are on the final lap, and Tobias Olsen, his credit, has driven a fantastic race. He had a bit of an advantage starting towards the middle of the field, but he has done the job. He made his way cleanly through the front of the field, and it looks like he's going to be rewarded with a huge victory, his first of this season, and what a win it would be to get him back up in that championship fight.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly right. Yeah, we'll definitely put him back in that championship fight. As we said, he was joint fourth in the championship with McGlade and Patterson, and this win will really help him out, as McGlade, I believe, is back in about 7th or 8th, so he's a little bit further back, and I think Craig Patterson's back in about 14th, 15th, so big points gained for Olsen on his rivals here, and it may even put him up into sort of third or maybe even second potentially. I'd say third probably would be where he may move to, depending on where his race 1 results gel. But Tobias Olsen now going through the 130R in the lead. We'll just have a look back here. Bell still trying to attack Yunt. Actually, Yunt's gone to second spot as they go side by side to 130R. Yunt holds it for the time being. Hardwick's wide as well. That's given Bedros the position as we go on now. But it is Olsen as he comes onto the main straight now. He's going to win race 2 here at the Suzuka Circuit. Great race from him. Really textbook stuff from the Ice Cold Racing driver. Very, very well done. He'll be extremely happy with his first win of the season. But I think it is, looks like it's going to be David Yunt. We'll hold on to second spot. Race from him. Bell will be third. Ford Smile Power Racing. Good stuff there. Oh, here we go now. Now the timing's going to sort itself out right at the very end of the race. So at least we can give you the actual position. So there you go. At least it sorts itself out. So it is Tobias Olsen has won from David Yunt, the FTHR in second. Good points fall from him with a second and I think it was a third or second third in the first race. So good stuff for Yunt. That'll really help his championship hopes. Bell in third for the Smile Power Racing team. Good podium for him. I think he'll be very happy with that indeed. Oscar Hardwick, as I said, 4th spot, so stays with his record of always being in the top 5 there. Great race from him. Very smart race from Oscar Hardwick. Vedros, though, in 5th spot. Great race from him there. Christopher Vedros was there or thereabouts the whole race. Didn't drop off too bad. Good stuff from him. Get that 5th spot. Very, very good points for his championship. McGlade ended up 6th there, so solid comeback drive from obviously being at the back with the reverse grid. Charles Bacchio there for Raptor Engineering Valkyrie in 7th, followed by Paul Joseph, the mighty 4th in 8th. Casper there for the Screeching Tires Motorsport in 9th. And then Matthias there, Raptor Engineering Phoenix in 10th. Rounds out your top 10 with Patterson close behind in 11th. And just looking back, Dolberg ended up 13th after the lap 1, or the early crash that he got involved with. And where were the other championship contenders? Waring retired, by the way. Obviously DNF there apparently. So big stuff for him in the championship. With the DNF, that's a big points loss. So not really going to help him out there. For the THR driver. So there you go. And Alexander, by the way, also retired too. So he misses out on a bunch of points in the second race as well. So there you go. There you go. Big drama that was, RJ. That was very, very interesting race. I'll tell you what, we had two really action-packed races this round.
Two really action-packed races and two winners that really showed their skills and their mettle. They drove the winners of today, Hardwick in the first race, Olsen in the second. They did their absolute best to get the best results that they could out of their races. They made the most of their opportunities up front. They absolutely seized the opportunity, and there are going to be big factors in the final 3 rounds, the last 6 races of this championship. Oh man, it is already, the gloves are already coming off. It has been a frantic and furious race, and in the end, it's been another really great round of action. Just and I'm glad everybody is here enjoying this event. We know a lot of people watching around the world, and we wouldn't be and we of course we do have to send a thoughts out to everybody watching, particularly those who are attending the United States Grand Prix in Austin, Texas, because we understand the severe weather that is affecting not only those in the southern United States, but also in Mexico as well, as Hurricane Patricia begins to make landfall in Mexico. So spare a thought, prayer if you can for everybody out there. That is a really nasty situation, but we hope that if you are watching from one of those areas that you've enjoyed what has truly been a great race.
Andy, no, very true. I'll agree with you there. Yes. Thoughts go out to those affected by the hurricane. Hopefully all is well, and recovery will be quick and it will be over soon, hopefully. But yes, no, that was intense. That was intense. I suspect, just going to pre-predict something, I think there'll be a lot of protests for these two races because, there was a lot of incidents, quite a lot of contact too. I mean, it's touring cars, it is expected, but yeah, very, very interesting indeed. So we have two interviewees in here at the moment. It's good old Oscar Hardwick and Lewis McVeigh. We'll start with Oscar. That was, as we were saying throughout the broadcast, Oscar, that was intense from our view, but how was it for you for both those races?
I can't really complain very much about race one. I'm sure that Kolojevic will view it differently, but he went into a gap where no matter what happened, there was going to be contact. And unfortunately, it was his car that half spun from it in race one. And, it was his fault and a bit of tough luck. It did so happen to work out for me really nicely. It made that gap whilst the others were fighting. And a win's what I need in this situation. Like, you've got people like David Junt, and he's such a consistent finisher that I can't really afford to not be a consistent finisher either in a good spot. And that was a thought in race two. I mean, Mike always defends aggressively, and David can do as well. And so when I saw them together, I made a little error because I got intentionally wrecked by a driver who, I won't name on the broadcast because that's not where to do it. And so my car was really useless on the brakes after that. It was massively broken on the rear end and then the left rear suspension. So Mike made a little move, and I couldn't quite react in time with the broken car to slow it down and hit him into David. So I've got to apologise for that. It is my fault. I was from behind there. Bit tricky. Very good little run at the end there from, I think it was Vretos, who gave me a go when I mucked up through 130R. But, at first and the fourth is, again, I think it's the third round of 3 where I've come away provisionally as the top scorer. So that's how I've got to keep performing. That's what I've got to keep doing. And it did work out. There was lots of contact. It was a scruffy race too, but the nature of the circuit and a full reverse grid was going to cause that, unfortunately. So it was kind of expected. I got off to a particularly careful start, and then sort of I ended up picking off places from accidents more than anything else. By the time I had been wrecked, I think I was up to 16th anyway, and didn't really lose any more than 2 or 3 positions in that. So it went all right. I would have liked to have finished on the podium in race 2, but a first and a fourth is nothing to be upset about.
There's certainly nothing to be ashamed of. That was a great race, opportunistic or otherwise. And in fact, I just want to bring this up. You've actually finished inside the top 5 in every race so far. A win and a 5th in Cascavel, 2 third places in Rio, now win and a 4th place here in Suzuka. How are your thoughts feeling as this championship moves in the second half? Are you feeling confident in your abilities that you can close out this job in the second half of the championship and become the series champion?
I don't want to say one way or another yet. Like,
hello, just want to say thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, I'm just heading off. Thank you for all the admins for all your hard work. I'm just heading off now.
So
Thanks very
anyway,
much.
It's a bit of an odd one. no, it was a case of. I apologise. I've forgotten the question now. that threw me off. No, I'm not going to say one way or another that I will definitely have a championship wrapped up or be able to from here. That the points work in such a way that I still can't afford to do anything really, really wrong. Because, like I say, Yunt's such a consistent finisher as well that whilst I gained points, I didn't gain loads. The plans to carry on as I've been doing, I need to discuss a few things because, like you say, the race, it was so just intense and aggressive. There's a few things I want to discuss with Bram and other admins afterwards, but on the whole, good evening. Good evening for the team as well, because I believe Eric Strana, driving for the MWRT Loro car in Server 2, won both races. So I'm a happy team boss and I'm a happy driver.
Indeed, yeah, no, that's fair enough with your results, and Eric. So it's good stuff for the team and for you personally. So thanks for coming in, Oscar,
Yes.
for an interview. Always good to chat and catch up. And yeah, good luck for the rest of the season. So I better move through now because we've got a whole bunch of guys in the interview here. Apparently, we're quite popular to talk to, which is always nice. But oh boy, who are we going to pick next? There's too many people we need to pick. I think I'm going to go with good old Lulu, Lewis McGlade. Why not?
Hey.
Good Lulu. Hey, Lulu. So same sort of question from me as I asked Oscar. That was crazy sort of stuff from what we were seeing. Extremely intense. How's it from your view?
I mean, for me, I came into the round because I accidentally overslept massively, and all of my practice was done in official practice. I'd never turned a lap in these cars around Suzuka before, so I did about 20 laps before qualifying. Amazed I got in the top 10, and then race one, it was just kind of like picking my way through. I guess there was a little bit of contact here and there, but I don't know. Take with that what you will. Look through it at another date. But race two, there was a little contact with Dundee, David Junt. Wasn't his fault. I have looked on the replay since then. It was just kind of like a side-by-side thing into turn one, and I drifted out a little bit, made contact, and then just completely overcorrected. And then past there, I was kind of following Waring, who decided it was a good idea to try gaining a couple of positions whilst throwing it over the inside of 130R and trying to do the proper sim racing thing of there's a crash up ahead and I'm going to do it at racing speed. And obviously messed everyone else over. But as I say, loads of things go through, get reported, I guess, or not, depending on how we feel. But considering I did 20 laps of practice, I'm actually well impressed with how the evening went. Yeah, pretty well for me, I guess.
That's a good result, and of course, you mentioned earlier that you had not turned really not too many laps at Suzuka in these kind of cars. Just from the driver's perspective, how difficult is this place to get around at the level that you're driving at? Because I mean, this is notorious for being one of the more challenging circuits, even still today in all motorsport.
Yeah, it's not an easy circuit. Luckily, a slight ace up my sleeve is that I'm not bad at Suzuka. I've done fairly well there in the past, so I've got that going for me, I guess. But it's a really difficult circuit, to be honest, especially with this one. Like, you run wide at 130R, and you can easily slide off the track because there's so little grip on the AstroTurf. You've got to be very careful with how you do a load of the lines around here, same as the Degners. But with the support I've got from people like Oscar and stuff like that, I can just ride on board, watch, see exactly what he's doing. He'll send me the setup, and we'll go from there. And it's just a lot of practice. I'm all right in front wheel drives. A lot of knowledge of how to drive a front wheel drive properly. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Waking up about an hour before the race, before qualifying, but it's not an easy track to learn. It wouldn't be the one I chose to do that at.
Yeah, very true there. Fair enough indeed. But yes, tough considering that you didn't get a lot of practice there, Lulu. So good results indeed, and well done, and thank you for the interview. Unfortunately, we only get one more interview because everyone has joined, and I would love to interview all of you and extend this for another hour or so, but we do need to wrap up. So unfortunately, I'm only going to take one more interview here before we wrap up. So apologies to those that missed out, but we will do interviews at later rounds. So we might try and see if we can prioritize you guys who weren't interviewed now for later on. I'm going to do David Yunt finish off because you were in the thick of it in both races, so it seems kind of fitting to end it on you. So again, same question for me as I asked Lulu and Oscar. How is it from your perspective, David, for those two races? It's quite intense from us.
Bit to say. it started out in qualifying where my first round of quali lap, and I was like right behind Oscar, but it somehow went backwards in the real quali session. I just couldn't nail it and had to go for 7th, I think. The start was okay. I went up 1, 2, 3 positions, and then after some time there was that collision with Alex and Oscar and Tobias, and I managed to pass everyone plus Andrew, and that's where it even went worse. I mean, I noticed that I suddenly didn't have the pace on race field. They were all basically faster than me, but I barely kept them behind me. But got the chance to let Andrew through, and then we noticed we didn't go anywhere together. I proposed a setup change before the first race, and it bite us back with much bigger tire where it seemed car was too slow, and yeah, we just went lucky with I think finishing 2nd and 4th. And then race 2, oh boy, that was really, really hectic one. I knew it was going to be tough since Suzuka you usually don't run many turns side by side, so I had to make it stick and it could end up in a crash. And it always started at the start where the timing went absolutely crap. I don't know. It showed me like in 24th, many people as retired, or I think Andrew missed the start, and his timing showed him like 1 lap down, and he didn't really know where he was. Same for me. I only started to figure out after a few laps to look at the positions at the start finish of the timing beams where it showed for a split second where we were. So I went through the field and managed to catch up to the battle for the podiums. And I think I was 2nd behind Tobias, who had a much better. He was much quicker going through the field, so I lost him behind Joe or something. And then came Mike. Oh dear, Mike and Oscar was a really intense battle. I got really mad when Mike went to the inside at the hairpin after we already had a scare at the Casio triangle. But he already apologized, saying it was Oscar also said that he might that he hunted him. So I'm cooling it down now, and it's okay to me. So we had that one last lap where I gave it my all and managed to catch both. So with P4 and P2, I'm probably not too sad, as I reverted back to the old setup for the 2nd race, and it went better. But it was really hard racing, and let's see what's going to happen.
Indeed, no, yeah, exactly right. As you said, very interesting races, and yeah, results from you for your championship. So I'm sure you'll be very happy with that indeed. But again, thank you for coming in for the interview. And yeah, we'll see you next round, and good luck for future rounds.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, David. Yeah, unfortunately, that's all we can have time for interviews, unfortunately, because otherwise we'll be here all night. And I would actually love to do these interviews for another half an hour and maybe make it like a podcast. That'd be cool, but unfortunately, we can't go on for too long, so we're gonna have to cut it out there, unfortunately. Future rounds, for those that missed out, we'll prioritize those that haven't got interviewed, and we'll interview them in the future. But yes, there you go. That was the end of round 3 of the Race Department Touring Car Championship. And I'll tell you what a round it was. Had it all, literally. We had great battles, we had plenty of incidents, which I'm sure we talked about throughout the next couple of weeks. The timing issues of the second race, just everything, RJ. It was something else.
It absolutely was, and we're looking forward to a strong second half of this championship. And again, big thanks to everybody who came out and participated this week in both Server 1 and Server 2. A big thank you to everybody who watched this stream from around the world on youtube.com/race department and at the racedepartment.com live stream page. Thank you so much for your participation, and thank everybody involved in the organization of this great league. We could not have done it without all of you.
And I agree, exactly right. Yeah, we can't do it without all the great support of the admins, race department, and everyone there who's been involved with getting this league running, making sure it runs day to day, and of course doing all the protests going through all them and all that stuff as well. So thank you very much to all those involved. Again, thank you to Davey for the amazing work he's done for this series so far, doing all the camera work and all that stuff. So thank you, Davey, for being on the cameras once again. And thank you, RJ, for being next to me again for this round. It was a very, very interesting round, a lot of fun, for sure. Very entertaining morning for me. But yep, that'll do us for Race Department Touring Car Championship Round 3. The next round is at the Guapore circuit for round 4, and we look forward to that. It should be very interesting to return to the Brazil circuits again. It'll be a very different style from the one we just were at. So it'll be interesting to see how we go and interesting to see how the championship develops in the future rounds. Thank you very much for joining us here. I'm Thomas Inns, along with everyone else, saying goodbye and see you next time.